It's gone. They came early, without warning, surrounded it with hundreds of cops, parks, and contractors, and they destroyed the space. So
in Seattle, you'll find a huge patch of dirt now at the site of the former Black Lives Memorial Garden at Cal Anderson Park on Capitol Hill. Seattle Parks and Recreation removed the garden yesterday. It said that the garden caused, quote, unsafe conditions for all park users, noting vandalism, drug use, and a problem with rodents. The group Black Star Farmers refused the city's request to move the garden elsewhere. The city says it's still open to working with them on a garden at another location.
instead of working with us, they have consistently decided to be antagonistic and tell us that this wasn't in their control, so we needed to leave.
The mayor's office says it's working with another group, Black Farmers Collective, on a potential commemorative garden at the park.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the leftists out in Seattle who are upset. And why are they upset? Well, they're upset because the city of Seattle has actually decided to do something that I think actually makes sense, right? Which is to get rid of the symbol of communism that is currently in that city's Cal Anderson Park, which is the BLM garden, okay? The Black Lives Matter garden that was started during the BLM riots of 2020. And this garden was supposed to be an area, I guess, where, you know, the woke revolutionaries could plant food and, you know, grow their own crops and stuff like that for sustainability purposes. But of course, like all leftist creations, it becomes a shithole, right, over time. And I'm literally using that language because that's the only term I can think of to describe what it is, right? Because that's what it has become. And that's the reason why they are demolishing it, is because it has become rampant with homelessness, drug use, and vandalism, okay? And the leftists, again, aren't too happy about the city deciding to demolish this garden. Take a look.
It's gone. They came early, without warning, surrounded it with hundreds of cops, parks, and contractors, and they destroyed the space. So we will rebuild eventually. What we would like to know from the city, from the state, from the people who have decided to use our resources to destroy community, how does this help community safety? How does this align with our values around environmental stewardship? They have the power to both destroy and create, and they have decided to use their energy to destroy. When we rebuild, we have been here. This community has been dealing with colonialism since the 1800s. This whole land has been dealing with colonialism since the 1500s, 1492. So we will rebuild. We will, because that is all we can do. When the state, when the colonists decide to destroy our land.
The problem I have, well, I have like 47 problems. The first problem I have is fuck the police.
This is what they are destroying, a garden that we use to feed ourselves.
Destroying a community garden in Seattle that's been there for 3 years now and has been feeding local folks, that was put up in memory of Black Lives Matter movement. Not a throwback to destroying olive trees or anything like that. Doesn't remind me of colonizing, you know, that's some colonizer shit. Straight up. And that's in Seattle, which is supposedly like progressive, ? And they destroyed a community garden that was there for 3 years and was actively feeding people. After they were telling people they were going to discuss it in January, blah, blah, blah. There they are destroying it. Grow your own food. Do you see why I say growing food is an act of rebellion? It pisses off the colonizers. It straight up pisses them off. Look what they've done. Look what they've done here. These folks have been good stewards of the land. They have been using indigenous and local crops and feeding people. And yet, growing food is an act of resistance. Even just a little plot. Look at how much it pissed these people off.
This is what they are destroying. A garden that we use to feed ourselves.
You shouldn't fucking have to have papers for an indigenous memorial. That's a garden. It's plants. Like, and the fact that some of you motherfuckers are so brainwashed that that's your first question. It's like, that's your problem with this. That's the problem you have. Like, the problem is that these people that want to stick up for the police, that's hilarious, bro. It's funny, actually, because they don't like you. They don't like me. They don't care about us. Capitalism is, in fact, controlling the means of production. They don't give a shit about the people. Go look it up. It does not say controlling the means of production and providing a good life. Providing care for people. No, it says money, bitch, money. And if it's in a city park, that's supposed to be public land. I'm sorry, a citizen of a capitalist country sticking up for the government is like, a guy thinking a stripper likes him because he pays her.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, leftist tears. Okay, they are very sweet like Kool-Aid. They are upset because Seattle decided that they were going to get rid of this garden, a garden that the city did not sanction, and they've cited public health and public safety issues, which are 100% correct because, again, these leftists let this garden become a shithole, right, where you had homelessness, vandalism, and crimes and all types of stuff happening in this area, okay? And these people are boohoo whining and crying, but yet they did not do what they had to do in order to keep the area up in a quality way that would have gave the city less of an excuse to remove the garden, because it's been there for 3 years. And the city probably didn't want to take it down, okay, to be quite honest with you, because of the backlash from the woke revolutionaries. I mean, Seattle's woke, okay? They're the city that had the autonomous zone where they essentially let leftists run their own city until they ran into the ground because there was so much crime due to a lack of police presence. Yeah, this city's woke. So it's not even like they wanted to really tear it down, but it was just so badly managed, okay? It was such a shithole that they was like, hey, we got to take this down, okay? We got to demolish this because, this is really a bad look for the city, okay? We can't have this garden here where people are just, trashing the place, right? Trashing the area. Which, again, you guys see a common theme here, okay? The more liberal or woke a city is, the more that it gets ran into the ground, the more it becomes a shithole. I'm so serious. It doesn't matter what it is, okay? The more leftist it becomes, the worse that it gets, okay? That is a reoccurring theme. Even a little garden can't be managed in a nice way, in a quality way by leftists. They run it into the ground to the point where the city's like, okay, well, we gotta get rid of it, right? You guys are allowing too much foolishness to happen, right, in this area. But anyways, with that being said, I don't think that we should have anything in this country named after Black Lives Matter, okay? For as much as that organization and also the phrase, the movement in itself, has caused so much harm and destruction to this country, nothing should be named after Black Lives Matter, okay? Nothing that's in a public property or anything like any street, none of that. We should not be honoring that movement. That movement has led to the downfall of this country, especially in these inner liberal cities. All these liberal cities that are facing a crime crisis, that are struggling to recruit police officers in order to stop crime, that are allowing criminals to run free. All of this stuff is being done because of the Black Lives Matter movement, okay? Progressive criminal justice reform was something that was put into overdrive in response to the Black Lives Matter movement, okay? What has been the result of progressive criminal justice reform? Out of control crime. You have repeat offenders being let back out on the street because the woke said that it's racist to lock up black people or to put them in jail, okay? They're being let back on the street. repeat offenders, known violent individuals. And then police, nobody wants to be a police officer because of what happened to Derek Chauvin. Okay? Derek Chauvin, who was doing his job and had George Floyd die because George Floyd was overdosing, and he ends up being painted as a racist and then sent into prison and almost stabbed to death. No cop wants that to happen to them, okay? And a lot of people say, you know what, I'm not going to get into law enforcement because I don't want that to happen to me, right? He showed that, yeah, this can happen to you if you happen to have somebody die while you're doing your job, okay? If people see you as a racist, they will smear you as a racist, you will be found guilty in court of murder, you will be sent to prison, and you may be stabbed to death. Nobody wants that, right? So now you have a police shortage. You have a lack of law and order. You have left-wing rioters who become emboldened to just protest and riot almost on a daily basis. We're seeing it right now. Its current form is the pro-Palestine rioters. They use violence because they've been told and shown through the BLM riots that, hey, it's okay to be violent. So that movement has led to nothing but chaos and destruction in this country, and we should not have any public property named after Black Lives Matter, because it has been the most destructive movement that we've ever seen in this country. So we should not be naming anything after it. And just because you named it Black Lives Matter Garden, that in and of itself is a reason to tear it down, right? I'm so serious. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.